you like put a very thin layer of water on the countertop just so it doesn't stick. It's not like, it's just tacky wet. And then you pour out your dough. And then, so since we upended it, that nice smooth surface is now what's on the countertop. So we're gonna wet our tool down a little bit and then just eyeball it in half.
Nice.
Because it's 2 loaves.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna just gather it up in a rough circle and then flip it so that top is back on the top. Do the same.
It's done quickly and with confidence.
Yes. And then once we're at this stage, we're just gonna tighten up the edges. So again, with a slightly damp tool, you're doing a tucking motion. So you're bringing it around, and then with this hand, you're tucking it right to the center of the dough underneath and letting it sit. And doing kind of a quarter turn.
I have a hard time with this one. This one's a little challenging.
Yeah, she makes it look so easy.
And then this just allows it, like this is loose, it's not even. We kind of like gathered it, so it's starting to build its gluten, but this is nice and smooth. It has a nice tuck to it, so it's creating a nice surface tension. Did you want to try tuck it?
Whatever.
So we're gonna do the final shape on these. And this is the only stage where you really use flour. Again, like it's hard, like a lot of people use flour at every stage. I find that using water keeps everything cleanest. And it also makes it the most consistent. You know, if you're adding flour at every step, you're drying out your dough, you're adding more flour for it to hydrate.
Okay.
So we're just gonna add flour at the very end. And we're gonna put a nice even layer on top so it's not sticky anymore.
It's gorgeous.
And then just move this guy for a second. Put a little bit on the countertop as well. And we're gonna do big switch. So now it's our nice smooth side is on the bottom again. Just gonna relax it into a nice circle, kind of letting the dough dictate where it needs to fall.
This is like massage.
And then we're gonna go 1/3 over. Nice and thin amount of dough here, but it's gonna make a nice straight line on that side. Same on this. Someone told me that you grab an earlobe amount of dough. It's kind of gross, but it does help you remember that like you're not grabbing like big fistfuls. So we have 2 nice straight sides. You do a little envelope fold up top. Flip it over and stretch. With my thumbs, I'm like throwing over to create a nice structure. And then one more time. Goes in its little bed. At room temperature all day. They're nice and light. They have a lot of activity to them. Now is when we slow that down, and it's called retarding the dough. So we're gonna put it in the fridge to let it's still gonna ferment, it's still gonna build structure, and it's also gonna relax into this shape, which is the loaf shape that we want, but it's gonna do it much slower. Where like if you left this out at room temperature, it would just continue to run away from you, and like timing it would be really hard.
Okay.
We're just gonna slow it down and give it time to get a little sour, ferment all the way, and then we'll bake it in the morning.